1997 American epic romantic disaster movie directed, written, co-produced, and co-edited by James Cameron. It is one of the most famous of all time because it depicts the story of a fateful voyage that tragically ended in disaster. In a 2009 interview on what inspired the movie, James Cameron acknowledged that he didn't make Titanic primarily to make a movie about it, but rather because he wanted to dive down and witness the wreck itself. He did, however, become personally immersed in the subject because he wanted to communicate the Titanic story while also giving it a human touch to make it even more captivating for viewers. He really got the audience as the movie was a massive box office success and won 11 Oscars, and its powerful and emotional story has resonated with audience for decades. Some iconic moments of the movie include Jack and Rose's love story, Jack's death, the famous "I'm the King of the World" scene, the heartbreaking farewell of Rose and Jack, and the beautiful song "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. The romantic story of Jack Dawson and Rose DeWitt Bukater in the movie served as a poignant reminder of the historical tragedy of the sinking of the Titanic. The incredible performances of Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio as Jack and Rose in the 1997 movie Titanic even propelled their careers to new heights and truly launched them into iconic status. While the tale of Jack and Rose is the stuff of dreams, something that could only appear in a romantic epic novel, it also feels incredibly real. This has caused many people to question whether the Titanic movie's narrative is genuinely based on a true story over the years. The Titanic's sinking was undoubtedly a historical event, but were Jack and Rose actual people? Was there any truth to their love story? Although the characters of Jack and Rose seem so genuine and developed, no such love story occurred historically, at least not on the Titanic. There has been no record of a first-class woman and third-class man that fell in love on the ship. Their individual characters were based on some real-life individuals. Kate Winslet's character Rose was based on American artist Beatrice Wood, who was not even connected to the Titanic, according to James Cameron. While making the film, Cameron was reading her biography, which is where he got his inspiration. Wood was an artist born into an affluent socialite family. Cameron said that the character of Old Rose in the movie incorporated some traits from Wood's personality and combined them with many creative characteristics. Also, the name Jack wasn't influenced by anyone in particular but was strikingly similar to one of the passengers on the Titanic called J. Dawson. His J stood for Joseph. Joseph, born in Dublin, Ireland, wasn't just a passenger but was a member of the ship's crew and worked as a coal trimmer. The parallels in name and socioeconomic rank were purely coincidental as Cameron didn't even learn about Joseph Dawson until after the script was already complete. Now, let's look at the parts of the Titanic that are based on what actually happened. Although Jack and Rose weren't really on the Titanic, other scenes in the movie are closely based on actual events. For instance, it is well known that the reason the Titanic sank in the movie was also the reason the ship sank in real life. The Titanic actually did strike an iceberg, which damaged the hull and in turn, led it to take on the water. The Titanic only had enough lifeboats for around half of the passengers on board, and even then, many of them only left the ship partially filled. The crew was unprepared for this kind of disaster. One of the few characters in the film who was truly based on a real Titanic passenger was played by Kathy Bates as Molly Brown. Despite not coming from a wealthy family, Margaret Brown was a socialite and philanthropist who made money when her husband's mining engineering work resulted in a sizable seam. She and her husband divorced in 1909, but they maintained good relations, and he gave her an allowance that she used to pay for her trips and charitable work. Molly Brown assisted numerous passengers in boarding lifeboats as the Titanic began to sink, but she needed to be persuaded to board one herself. Brown also established a survivors committee to assist in obtaining supplies and essentials for the second and third class passengers when the survivors were picked up by the RMS Carpathia. One iconic piece of Titanic history, which was also depicted in the film, is that the ship's band continued to play as it sank. This did occur, however, it's not certain which song they played before calling it a night. Some sources suggest it was Song Diotam, while others say it was Nearer, My God, to Thee. The scene where the elderly couple chooses to stay in their room and embrace each other as their room continues to fill with water is another heartbreakingly iconic moment in the movie. Isidore Straus, the owner of Macy's, and his wife Edith served as the inspiration for this scene. Although the couple was offered space on a lifeboat, Isidore refused to take it when there were still women aboard. Isidore declined the offer to enter a lifeboat with the couple while there were still women on board. The survivors last saw Ida and her husband seated on a pair of deck chairs, refusing to leave one another. In the end, only Isidore's body was found. The like and subscribe buttons if you learned something today. Also, don't forget to hit on the notification button to always be notified when we upload more fun videos with similar contents.